So this video is for basic facial. It will start just as you arrive at work. So the first thing that we're gonna do when we arrive to work is we're gonna wash our hands. So we're gonna wet our hands and find some liquid hand soap, wash our palms down to our wrist, wash the back of our hands down to our wrists. We're gonna wash our fingers, of course, the backs of our fingers. We're gonna wash fingertips and nails between our fingers and our thumbs. We're gonna wash our thumbs, wrists, all of this for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds. And when you feel like you've properly cleansed everything, you're gonna rinse thoroughly underneath the water. Super important. And then either get disposable paper towels or a clean towel to turn the water off. Then you're gonna wipe everything dry. If you use paper towels, you can throw them in the trash. If you used a clean towel, it's now dirty and it needs to go in a closed container until time for laundry. Then you're gonna get your 70% ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer, and you're gonna go ahead and sanitize your hands to finish the hand wash. Your client today, first client up, is a facial, basic facial. So what we wanna do is go ahead and review what we're gonna do to prepare the room before our client arrives, and you wanna do as much of this ahead of time as you can. So you're gonna disinfect your workstation, the bed and equipment, using a disinfectant wipe, and of course we're going to follow manufacturer's instructions. We'll check all the equipment to ensure that the devices are in safe working order and plugged into a working receptacle. We're going to gather clean supplies needed for the facial service, storing in a clean, closed container. We're going to turn on our hot cabbie and stock it with 3 wet towels, at least. More may be needed depending on the service and the client's needs. We're gonna fill a clean steamer glass with distilled water and preheat our steamer. And then we'll dispense products needed for the service according to skin type and client's needs as follows. We're gonna prepare disposable portion cup tray for each product with a portion of the product by opening the top of the container and ensuring the tip of the nozzle does not come into contact with the disposable portion cup tray. Or we can remove the product with a disinfected or clean single-use spatula. Close the lid to the product, set the portion cup tray on the tray. We're going to drape our facial bed using 1 fitted sheet, 1 flat sheet, and 3 towels. Place clean laundered sheets down on the disinfected facial bed, placing a towel horizontally at the head of the bed. We'll lay a hairnet and a headband on top of the first towel, along with a rolled towel to support the head and neck of the client. We're going to save the third towel to lay across the client's décolleté. So, we're going to review what we've already prepared, and then we'll go through our client consultation. So I have my tray ready to go. Obviously, I would not be preparing, like actually removing the product if it's a first-time client or I need to assess client skin type, etc. So just note that you would do all of that customizable stuff, but you can have everything else ready, which would then maximize time because you don't want to do your client consultation and then make the client wait 20 minutes so you set all this stuff up. So that's just not practical. So my tray's ready to go. I've got some water, I've got some makeup remover, I've got some astringent. I definitely have 4 squares, 2x2s, cotton rounds, and toner. I have gloves because I'm going to be using gloves for extraction. I've got those wooden sticked Q-tips for my extractions. I've got the single-use spatulas to scoop stuff out with. I have a brush for my mask application, and then I have my products set out. So I've got cleanser, I've got my exfoliator, I have my massage product, a mask, I have eye cream and moisturizer. So that's set up based on mocking what I think my client's gonna need. You could certainly have all your bowls out and then your products closed, and then all you have to do is prepare everything and put it in your individual disposable containers when your client arrives once you do the consult. So just note that I'm ready to go, and then obviously my bed is made and all of those things before the client arrives, so I wouldn't have to do any of that when she gets here or he gets here. And then basically what happens now is the client's going to arrive and we're going to go over the client consultation part of the basic facial. I will always have clean hands. I just washed my hands to set up, but when I would go and meet the client, of course, my hands would be clean. You will see me wash my hands again before I start the service, but just so you know, I'm going to do my client consultation with freshly clean hands. So let's talk about the consultation. You're going to greet your client and escort them to the work area. You'll determine the client's preferences and assess the client's needs. We will assess the client's skin by performing a visual skin analysis to ensure that there is no inflamed, infected, broken, raised, or swollen skin in the area to be worked on, or an open wound or sore in the area to be worked on, infection or infestation, for example, lice, to prevent from safely performing the service. We'll assess the client's consultation form for any medications and products used within the last 72 hours, consulting on any known allergies. We will consult with the client on any facial surgeries within the last 3 months and if the client is under a physician's care. We'll assess if the client is prone to cold sores or fever blisters. We'll assess if the client has used exfoliating or lightening agents within the last 72 hours, like alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids, hydroquinone, etc. We'll assess facial injections within the last 3 weeks, like Botox or hyaluronic fillers. And if the client is free from any of the above contraindications that we've just reviewed, then we are able to proceed with the service. And my client is just fine. So we're able to proceed. So what we want to do now is get her comfortable, and then I'm going to wash my hands before we get started. So what we're going to do is we are going to give her some privacy, take her into the room where the facial bed is, and then she'll have a drape and everything laid out. So you're going to give her an opportunity to put her drape on and have that privacy, and then get into the facial bed, and then you'll come in and tuck her in. So she is down on the bed, and she's got the towels horizontal here, so she's tucked in, so I'm going to make her even more cozy. So I've got my rolled towel that I'm going to place here underneath her neck to give her that additional support, and I'm going to use an actual hairnet because it just works better with her. She doesn't have any hair, so for my mannequin I've found that a hairnet will stay on and a headband will not, but it's to keep the hair out of the face. So you may do a headband and a hairnet, whatever works best for you and your client. And then I'm going to take a towel, my third towel, and place it over the décolleté so that she's nice and cozy and comfortable, and that's covered there. So before I do anything at this point is when I would be washing my hands. So let's just review that step. So I would wet my hands at the sink and get some liquid hand soap, rub my hands together down to the wrist, and then I'm going to wash the back of my hands down to the wrist. I'm going to wash my fingers. I'm going to wash the backs of my fingers. I'm going to wash my fingertips and nails between my fingers and my thumbs. Of course, I'm going to wash my thumbs and my wrists. I'm going to do all of that interlocking cleanse for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds. And then I'm going to thoroughly rinse everything off. When I feel like everything's clean, I'm going to get disposable paper towels or a clean towel and turn off the faucet with the towels. Dry everything off, toss those paper towels, get my 70% ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer, pump it out and dry the hands off. So if you did use a clean towel, it's now dirty, and you would just put that in your closed container where your dirty laundry is for time to do laundry. So once your hands are freshly washed and finished, you can begin the basic facial. The first steps for us is makeup removal. So we're going to remove her eye makeup and her lip makeup. This particular client is like super glam, so she wears a lot of makeup. I know that, so I am going to take a minute here to remove it. So some people are very natural, and this will take like one pass, easy peasy. So you just take a minute, and then I'm going to talk as little as possible, obviously explaining everything as I go, but with the facial I wouldn't be talking. I'd be keeping very quiet and relaxed time for her. So I'm going to start with the lip. Just going to take a second here to dry off. And then that will allow me to see if all the makeup's off. And then what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and start with the first cleanse. Once you've done that first cleanse, you're going to want to remove it. And then at this point here, you are going to go in to do your skin analysis. So what you're going to want to do is cover up the client's eyes with cotton rounds because you're going to be using a magnifying lamp, and that's going to be super bright. So you're going to pull in either a Woods lamp or a magnifying lamp over the client, and you're going to go ahead and turn it on. And while that's a super bright light, it gives you a chance to then do your proper skin analysis. So what you're going to be doing here is you are going to be looking in detail at the client's skin. And it may be that the client told you specific concerns that you're going to be looking for first. Let's say it's maybe clogged pores, excess sebum, they feel really oily, they feel really broken out, etc. So you're going to go for that. You also want to look for dehydration, fine lines and wrinkles, hyperpigmentation, broken skin, anything that is out of the ordinary or you feel like it's an area of opportunity that you can help them with. not only for this particular service, which you're definitely looking for that, but then also for things that you see that home care products could support with, which is obviously super important because they're at home by themselves more than they are with you. They might see you once every 4 to 5 weeks. And also for services going forward, like what's your plan? Like maybe you are going to talk about goals for her skin or his skin after this visit is done. So that's really important that you're looking at all of those things while you have a chance with this magnifying lamp and light. So really give it that proper look over. The other thing that you want to do is that you're going to be making a notation about their skin details in your system. And that way, if anything changes with a freckle or a raised area or whatever, you're going to be able to tell them if they need to see a doctor or something like that. If they don't notice it first. So just a lot of things to think about, but when you do the skin analysis, that's what you want to think about. So let's say that, for example, that we're done. So you're going to turn off the light, remove it from the client's face, and then you can take away the cotton rounds, the protection from the eyes. And now it's time for cleanse number 2. Now you want to remove cleanse number 2. And then you need to do your third cleanse, third and final. And now remove that third and final cleanse. And once you're finished with your cleansing, you're going to tone. And I'm going to make sure that my toner does not touch, my toner nozzle does not touch my little squares here. So from there, it's going to be time to apply exfoliant. So we are going to do that, and then we'll talk about a few things. So I'm going to be applying and spreading some around because I'm going to be massaging that product in for a minute or two. So the first thing I'm going to do is apply it and just kind of spread it around. Of course, I'm going to be avoiding the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Some people put little cotton circles over the eyes just as a reminder. But just so you know, I'm going to be avoiding that anyway. So, taking the first minute or two here to massage in that exfoliating product. So once your exfoliant is on, let's talk about what happens next. So you've massaged it in for 1 to 2 minutes, and then what you're going to do is you're going to retrieve your facial steamer, the one that you preheated. Now I don't have one, so I'm going to just talk about it. You're going to retrieve the steamer and turn it to the on position. You're going to position the steamer next to the facial bed and make sure that it is facing away from the client as the water heats up and emits an even outflow of a mist. Once the steamer is emitting a mist, you'll position the steamer 16 inches over the client's face and aim it at the client's chin for even distribution on the face, allowing the unit to function for 3 to 5 minutes. So we don't really have a unit, so let's just talk about what's going to happen. So we bring it over to the bed, and then we're going to make sure that it's facing away from the client. We turn it on and we let that steady stream happen. Once it's working well and steady, we're going to turn that steamer towards the chin, 16 inches, and then the steam is going to flow up and over the face, and it's going to be a nice little even flow for 3 to 5 minutes. So we're just going to pretend like that 3 to 5 minutes has passed, and then we would be removing the exfoliant. So we've let the steamer do its thing. 3 to 5 minutes is up. We're going to turn it away from the client. We're going to take it back to where it was and turn it off. Then we're going to go to our hot caddy, which I don't have also, but we're going to pretend, and we're going to get out one of our steam towels, and we're going to shake it out because it's super hot and check that temperature on our own wrist. It feels good. When we think it feels good, we're going to test it on our client's collarbone, and then we'll fold it nice and pretty, and then bring it in to our client's face. And we're going to cover up everything on the face and neck except the nostrils because we want the client to be able to breathe. And then we're just going to press it in on the face. So a nice little steam towel to remove the exfoliant. And if you didn't have a steamer, you could also do just steam towels over and over. You would just switch them out as you progress. You have about 30 to 40 seconds before they start getting cold. And then once you have fully removed that exfoliant, you're going to do extraction. So that is what we are going to do now. So I'm thoroughly drying my hands off because you have to wear disposable glove for your extractions. So make sure you get everything nice and dry. And to perform extractions, you can do it one of two ways. You can use these cotton rounds soaked in astringent, and then you would use your fingers and work your way around and then throw them away. I'm going to use the wooden sticked Q-tips, which means that you use a pair for each extraction. So you soak them in astringent, you do an extraction, you toss them in the trash. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm soaking my cotton wooden stick Q-tips in astringent, and then I'm going to go in. So I'm immediately going to throw them away and get a new set and do the same thing. Oopsie. It's just a Q-tip, so it's not anything painful. No client injury here. Getting another set with all these all the mask wearing. Everybody's super congested in like the little area here, so getting another set, soaking it. Just really her chin area seems to be the only area of excess sebum and clogged pores. Last one. Perfect. Throwing it in the trash. So you also want to take your gloves off and throw those away. They are disposable, and you just did extraction. So time to toss it, and then we are going to tone the face. Once again, I'm not going to let my nozzle come into contact with my little 2x2s, and we'll apply the toner. You don't want to do those extractions for any more than 5 to 7 minutes either, because it can be painful for the client. So thankfully she didn't need a ton of extractions, but just keep that in mind for every client. But the best news in the world is once you tone, after all that discomfort, if there was a lot for someone, it's the time for the massage. So I'm going to retrieve my massage product, and I am going to make sure that I have enough so that I don't have to leave my clients. I don't have to stop touching my client and retrieve more massage product. I want to make sure it's nice and consistent for her and that it feels great. So I'm just spreading it all out everywhere it needs to be before I start the massage, and then I don't have to go back in to get any more products. She can enjoy and really relax and hopefully rest during this nice part of the facial. So when you're finished with your massage, you're going to be removing the massage product. And once your massage product has been removed, you're going to be applying your mask. And I'm going to use a brush to apply mine. And like everything else, we are going to avoid the eyes, nose, and mouth. Like with anything else we've been talking about, we're always going to follow manufacturer's directions. But your mask is generally going to stay on for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. So just keep that in mind. But we are doing a video, so we are not going to sit here for 5 to 10 minutes. We're just going to pretend like the 5 to 10 minutes based on the mask has already elapsed, and then it's time to remove our mask. So that's what we're going to do now, remove the mask. And then once you remove the mask completely, we're going to do one final tone. Making sure not to touch. And she is good to go. So now we have to put her final products on. So we're going to put on a little eye cream, and we're going to put on a little moisturizer with sunscreen because it is still daytime and we want to protect her. So we're going to use our ring fingers, super gentle. So we're going to tap on that brow bone and zygomatic arch. And then we're going to take a nice hydrating day cream that has SPF in it. So it's going to get that protection as well. Hydration and protection. And we talked about SPF. We're going to talk about it again before she goes home. The importance of it. We're going to put it everywhere, neck, décolleté, all over her face, etc. So once we get her moisturizer on, she looks like $1,000,000. So we're going to make sure that we give her some privacy here so that she can get dressed, and we will let her change to meet us out in the client area so that we can check out. We're going to review any maintenance and aftercare that she might need to do. We're going to get her booked in for her next appointment, and we're going to make sure that she gets out of here going home with those right home care products so that she's doing everything she can when she's not with me to make her skin amazing. That said and done, we've got one more facial appointment today, so we've got to really hustle. So we're going to get back to our room, and we're going to discard any single-use items that we haven't already done. And then we are going to identify a proper cleaning agent, read the manufacturer's directions, follow the directions for mixing and usage, and we're going to wipe down our workstation and area with the cleaning solution to remove debris. Then we're going to identify a disinfectant that is bactericidal, virucidal, and fungicidal, EPA approved for use in a salon setting. We're going to get on a set of disposable gloves because we're going to need that. We're going to follow manufacturer's instructions for mixing and usage, or we can use appropriate aerosol disinfectant. Then we'll disinfect electrical equipment and then store it in a clean area separate from other implements. Speaking of implements, if we had used any of those, we would have put them away in a closed container marked to be disinfected, and all of the towels and laundry were thrown into a laundry basket with a closed lid until it's time to launder that. So to finish up our cleaning, we're going to make sure that we wash our hands one final time. So we're going to go to the sink, wet our hands, get liquid hand soap, wash our hands down to our wrists. We're going to wash the back of our hands down to our wrists. We're going to wash our fingers and the backs of our fingers. We're going to wash between our fingers, fingertips and nails, between our fingers and our thumbs. We're going to wash our thumbs, and we're going to wash our wrist. We're going to do all of that interlocking cleanse for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds. Then we're going to give it the proper rinse under the sink. Once they're rinsed, grab disposable paper towels, turn off the faucet, dry everything off, throw them in the trash, and then get your 70% ethyl alcohol hand sanitizer so that you can sanitize up, and then you're going to be ready to set up for your next basic facial. So that concludes our video for basic facial.